Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to the channel and some Mythic Americas coverage. So we had a couple of videos for you guys back a while there where we had the core box and more recently one of the new expansions, the Jaguar Warriors. But this is our first chance to really sort of delve into the game and the mechanics itself and bring you guys some actual content and sort of help explain the game and some of the features that it has. So one of the things we're going to do here is take a quick tour through the different scenarios, and starting with this video today, we're going to take a look at the first one, which is build altars for the gods, which is a really interesting scenario and just part of the way that the game works too. So in Mythic Americas, they kind of divide the scenarios up into basically sort of like primary and secondary ones. And the secondary ones can vary as well, but the main scenarios here are called Balance of the Way, and it's part of all these, part of this flavor and sort of mechanic that the game has. It kind of lets each army essentially be played in two different ways. There's this thing called the Way, which it's not necessarily like a good or evil thing. There's two different essentially paths that you can be on, the ever living and the ever changing, but basically depending on what you choose for your force, that will help determine secondary objectives and other abilities and stuff that your army has access to. It's just a really neat system, but for now we're going to focus on, again, just the main scenarios here, which cover the maps and everything that we see here in terms of the main goals here. So again, this one's called Build Altars for the Gods. And as we can see, our deployment zones here, so basically up to 12 inches in, but let's get the details here. And one thing I like too is, they keep it really short and sweet here. Like, this is everything you need to know to set up, basically, and sort of the main victory points here. So again, deployment 12 inches from the player's edge. During any order phase, after an order dice has been drawn, a hero or any unit, so that means non-beast or swarm units within 10 of a hero or monster, can declare a build and alter action. So you assign a down order to that unit and enforce down order rules. And yes, for those watching, if you are familiar with bolt action, it does use that mechanic there with the order dice. So if you're familiar with Warlords of Erewhon, of course, which this is in that same realm as far as taking a good chunk of that rule system and then kind of importing it, and it's doing its own unique thing here. But yeah, so you still have order dice. And down, for those not familiar, just means basically that unit's not doing anything else that turn. So at the end of the turn, place an altar token in base contact with the unit building the altar. And really, what cool thing you can do there is, depending on what force you're playing, you could really custom build some of your own, like, actual physical altar tokens. So it's not just a piece of cardboard or something. And then altar tokens must be 10 inches away from any other altar token. So as you and your opponent start building up altars, potentially, at some point you're going to maybe be too close, and then that's where you're going to have to start destroying the opposing altars. So destroy a constructed altar through normal melee combat, which must hit only. The altar has no resistance to defend, so basically it'll crumble essentially as long as you attack it. A unit that successfully destroys an altar cannot follow up. So basically, like, no, like, moving on to another unit of combat or anything like that. You didn't win a fight, so there's nothing like a sweeping advance from like other game systems and stuff like that. But here then, victory points. So at the end of a turn in which you build an altar on the enemy table half, so that's something key there, or destroy an enemy altar on the friendly table half, gain a victory point. So so that's the way of really pushing towards victory. But here's something strategy-wise that you should consider too. So you gain victory points for putting it on your opponent's side, but really there's nothing that says you can't build altars on your side, and that might seem counterintuitive at first, but again, when you build an altar, no one can build within 10 inches of you, so you can kind of already claim out some real estate from opponents, preventing them from building on your half in certain areas, and then they'll have to spend time essentially destroying your altars first, which again, in a 6-turn game, there's only so much time for movement and other things like that. So just a little something to keep in mind, folks, that you can use to slow down the enemy and delay them accomplishing their goals while you're trying to push yours. So, but anyway, guys, it's a fun little scenario. It's not typically a lot of games will start off with just like, hey, kill the other side kind of scenario. So they did a little something different here, and that's really neat. It's a type of objective scenario, and I wish there were more of these in different games, but it's pretty cool. So you have to build something while also potentially destroying enemy objectives, and it can vary where they're placed all the time too. So that will help make it unique each time you play it. Each board will be slightly different and things like that, and obviously with the armies chosen as well. So really cool little scenario here to start things off with Mythic Americas, guys. So hope you enjoyed our video. Hit us up in the comments too if you've played this already, and what you have found to be successful in the Build Altars mission here, and where you've maybe struggled, and what kind of forces were involved and stuff like that. So hit us up in the comments, guys. Smash that like and subscribe button if you could. Helps keep the channel growing as well. And then if you do want to support the channel a little bit more, hit up the video description there. There's a link. If you follow that over to Warlord and pick anything up, that helps support us a little bit. We appreciate everyone who's done that. Also, right below that, if you are into any of the Warlord games and your local store doesn't carry it yet, wherever you might be at, there's a description there, basically contact information, so that way you can help get that happening in your area. Again, if your store doesn't already do it, so you're not necessarily stuck ordering online. It's a great way to also build the community up. So check that out if you're interested. Hope you guys had fun hanging out here. We'll be back with the next video.